Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm talking about the 5 things I wish I knew before I started collecting comic books. So this list has kind of been curated by my own mistakes or the things that I've learned, the things that I've realized over the past several years, and I wanted to impart this on you guys. I think this is for new people, I think this is for veterans, I think there's a little bit for everybody in this list. So without further ado, the first one up is you don't have to make the hobby fund itself. So this is something that a lot of YouTube influencers, a lot of people in the community say that you need to do or you have to do. And what that means is you have to be some sort of hybrid collector slash flipper slash dealer. It seems like that is the ultimate evolution or the ultimate path of a comic book collector, is that you become some sort of hybrid down the road, whether that be you start selling books on Whatnot or you set it up at a local show. I don't think that this is absolutely crucial or even something that you necessarily should do or that you're aiming to do as a comic book collector. Now, it is nice to sell some things, to have some more money for some more things you want to buy. That is nice, but this idea that is part of the collecting of comic books, or that is part of being a comic book collector, it's not the case. What happens is you end up buying things that you don't really want so that you can sell them to people that may want them or they may want to flip them. It's a lot of headache. It's a lot of extra things, and you end up with a lot of extra stuff that you might not necessarily want. A lot of this has been popularized by the big YouTube guys because, to be honest with you, a lot of the big YouTube guys are some sort of flipper in themselves. They are trying to monetize their community. They are trying to sell to their audience. That's not necessarily what you, the average comic book collector, needs to do. What you need to do is to find the things that you enjoy reading, covers that you like to collect, stories you like, artists, creators that you want to collect. That is what you should be doing, and not focusing on, hey, how can I turn this $10 book into $20? A lot of you are probably saying, well, Sticky Goose, I'm not made of money over here. I can't just buy a $4,000 comic book. Well, in all honesty, should you be buying a $4,000 comic book anyway? I don't know. That's another video for another day. Afford what you can, buy what you can, and then maybe save up towards something. I mean, you don't have to become a flipper to get into this hobby. And with the market crashing the way it is, key issues are going to become much more affordable. The next on the list is, I don't think you should be buying runs if you don't plan to read the comics. I think you should just be buying the keys. So what I mean by that is filling a run or collecting a 400 issue or a 300 issue ASM or Fantastic Four run is all great and good. You have it in the long box. You've compiled that run. But if you're not going to read the story, there's really no point in it. Collecting runs is kind of a thing of the past, in that back in the day, you had to collect the runs to get the whole story because there was no other means of reading. But now, run collecting is just kind of a completionist mindset, which I know a lot of collectors feel that. The problem is that you're probably overpaying for a lot of these run filler issues, or you're buying stuff that you're never going to get around to reading and just taking up more space in your collection area. When in reality, if you're just in the business of collecting, you probably just want to buy the key issues and just say, hey, this is my my shrine, or my part of my Fantastic Four collection. Like, this is what symbolizes my Fantastic Four love, or my appreciation. And then just buy the trade paperbacks, or read it online, or read the omnibus. Because buying these runs, if you're ever wanting to sell or get out, or just kind of maybe manage some space, I think you're going to be a lot happier just getting the keys and not getting these complete runs. Because if you're not somebody that has huge nostalgia with it as a kid, somebody that's just like a crazy completionist that just wants it for whatever reason, if you're not reading the run, I would not recommend doing that. The next one on the list is I think you should read the classic comic books or the best stories of all time before you should read new comics. So I think a lot of people get into comics and they don't know where to start. They want to go to the local comic shop. They want to check out the new issues. It's like, hey, there's a Batman title. Hey, there's Wonder Woman. Hey, there's Superman. Let me start there. That is one way of going about this. But in my opinion, what you should do is you should read some of the best Superman stories of all time first before doing that. All-Star Superman, or George Perez's Wonder Woman, or The Dark Knight Returns, or Dark Victory, or the Jeff Loeb Long Halloween Batman stuff. Superman for All Seasons, Brian Azzarello Wonder Woman from New 52. Like, those are just some examples of runs that are going to be excellent. People have said they are tried and true kind of runs where it's like more people, a vast majority of people like this, as opposed to the minority that don't like it or disagree with it. I would spend your money on tried and true stories, tried and true graphic novels or omnibus or absolutes, or even if you're going to collect the run, read the Court of Owls Batman before you start getting into new Batman. Not only will that kind of set the tone, set the stage for what a good Batman run is and what your expectations should be going forward, but it also fill in a lot of the information you need so that you can get some of the inside information, or you get references, because comic books are so reliant on that. It's like, oh, I recognize that. That's why in the movies, why the cameos are always so powerful. It's because it's like, we recognize this as a collective. I know a lot of people want to support their local comic shop. They want to buy something at a Comic-Con. But I just think that, reading those classic stories like online, or getting, a cheaper graphic novels or collected editions is a better use of your money in the beginning, so that you know what you like, so that you know what's good, what's objectively good, so that you can pick and choose. And if you want to delve into that new stuff, it'll be there. I think a lot of the new stuff is not great, and I think letting that kind of sort itself out, letting that kind of curate itself by people is the better way to go about reading comics, and even collecting comics as well. The next on the list is do not let people influence you on how to collect. Make your own decisions. So first off, let me say, in the beginning, when you're just starting collecting, or if you're getting back into it, you don't necessarily know what to collect. You don't know what's good. So having a little bit of influence by somebody that's been in the game a long time, or articles about certain books, that's fine. But what you should not let happen is let people influence your buying. Let people dictate what you think you should be collecting. So a lot of people, it's like you have to collect slabs, or you have to collect keys, or you have to collect runs, or you have to collect this certain thing. You have to collect Batman. You have to collect and freaking ASM. Don't get me started. Everybody has to collect ASM, right? You're not a real comic book collector if you don't have a run of Amazing Spider-Man. Don't do that. Don't fall into this trap of this is what you think a person should be collecting. That goes back to my previous point of read the best stories of all time. Decide for yourself what you really love. Decide for yourself what you think is awesome. You read Swamp Thing by Alan Moore. You're like, oh my God, I love it. I read Walking Dead by Robert Kirkman. I love it. I want to collect that now. I want to get all the variant covers. I want to get Walking Dead Deluxe, the new stuff, the in-color stuff. That is a reason to buy things. It should not be a reason because you have been influenced. Somebody has told you what to buy, what you think you should buy. That is not why you should be collecting anything. What you should be doing is forming your own opinions. Read some of the best stories of all time. Then make an informed decision as to what you want to collect, what you would want to enjoy. And the last on this list, you probably guessed it, is do not grade your comic books. Do not send your books to Sarasota, Florida, CGC, PGX, CBCS. Do not do this. It's a trap. So CGC is basically saying, hey, this is the grade on your book. It puts a number on something and it puts it in a case so that you can never see the inside of that book again. You've basically made a trading card. If you're a flipper, if you're somebody that's wanting to turn it around, maybe. But even then, I don't think that CGC is a great thing. I think most comic book collectors, specifically the old school guys, which I hate to break it to you, those are the people that are still in this hobby. A vast majority of the people in this hobby are from 40 to 55 years old. That is just the reality of this. And a lot of those guys want raw comic books. So if you're a flipper or a seller, buying the CGC stuff is not a great idea. Sending it down there is expensive. Also, buying a graded comic, you're paying graded comic prices, which are inflated prices. Once you've bought a graded comic, you probably already lost money. It's probably going to go down because you probably bought it at its absolute peak. Not always the case, but more often than not, it is. Grading your comics it's kind of a scam. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Like, once you get that book encased and you have that dopamine, that serotonin hit of like, oh my God, there it is. It's a 6.5, whatever. There it is. There it sits. You never get to see the inside of that again until you've cracked it out, and everything you've just done is for nothing. All that sending it down there, the waiting, the paying for the slab, all that, it's just over. So grading comics is cool if you've got like a serious key issue. If you've got a Fantastic Four 1 or an X-Men 1 or something, like to grade something like that, sure. But to grade everything and a 9.8 this, 9.8 that, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, and something I think you will be disappointed with. A lot of people, unfortunately, got into this. They thought that this was the way to go. This is how you should be collecting comic books. Get them encapsulated, get them protected. But what happens is you kind of fall out of love with comics a lot of the time because you're not looking at comics anymore. You're looking at a cover, and that's not what comics are about. Guys, these are the 5 things I wish I knew before I started collecting comics. What do you guys think? If at any point in time you like this video, give the thumbs up. And if you like this video, subscribe for more. Take care.